Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contiengecy Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, everyone, prepare yourselves for the most relevant Star Wars topic of all time. This is the all Lego Star Wars podcast. Yay!
I get C-3PO.
Lego Star Wars. Oh, my goodness.
They're still making them.
Well, I know, and that they have like accompanying quote videos and movies, and I mean, to be honest with you, I've played a few of this Star. Maybe I did play Lego Star Wars. I know I played like Lego Batman, which was interesting, but wow,
I like Lego Star Wars.
It's kind of funny.
I played them as a kid. I was of the age.
It's just kind of hilarious how that as a concept really birthed another pretty large series.
Yeah, because I mean that was the first big one, I think.
I mean, think of all the games that everybody talks about. Oh, Red Dead Redemption, all this good stuff. Well, I want to play Lego Star Wars.
I looked for it the other day. I really did. I just liked how they would take all those serious scenes.
Yeah.
And they make them so goofy, like
Qui-Gon's. They make them Legos.
Like Qui-Gon's death and everything. It's just so stupid because he would in the fight, I remember he would be fighting Darth Maul and they would look over at Obi-Wan. He'd be like, "Oh, hi," and wave at him.
Yeah, well, they try to make it...
No, I'm sorry. That was in Darth Vader and Old Ben's fight.
Oh, okay.
He does that. He waves and they...
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Hits the button and dies.
Well, I mean, they're trying to market it towards kids. I mean, it's a kids game. And they try and make it funny and make light out of serious stuff or serious scenes. But, yep, no, we're not a Lego Star Wars or Lego anything podcast. Heck, we might even be hit by copyright for just even mentioning the word Lego.
Holy crap, they're talking about Star Wars. Speaking of non-Star Wars related stuff, did you finish Spyro yet?
No, I haven't. I
know you haven't because I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I really haven't been back into it. I go in and out of playing video games, and I guess we could just jump into Jedi Council then.
Yeah.
Talking about, I've just been preparing for the upcoming backpacking season, and, I'm trying to play a little music and everything, and, obviously my YouTube channel and then this podcast and all the other junk that goes into the day-to-day minutia of an adult life. Mm-hmm. So
I've been benefiting from you upgrading your camping gear too. It's been really nice.
Here's all my cast-offs,
discounts from hand-me-downs.
Well, and of course, the plus side of that is my hand-me-downs are usually better than most secondhand stuff because I don't abuse my things.
You just upgrade too quickly.
Well, you kind of learn. You kind of learn on what works. So yeah, you got yourself a new sleeping bag, and you got the Boda sack, the old wine skin for your water needs if you want to take that.
Probably 20 other things, honestly, throughout the past month or two.
Well, the camping chair, and I don't know, there's something else, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. I think there was a pillow, but I don't think I'm going to use the pillow.
Yeah, no, that was just one of those deals. Like if you want to try it, you can, but
it's going in the trash if you don't take it. So
I'm not going to take it. I've got a replacement pillow for it. It was something to try, but not something long term. But yeah, anyway, how's your week been going?
Been kind of in a daze, honestly. Other than work, I just haven't been doing a whole lot. So, yeah, pretty mediocre, honestly.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, obviously last week I was sick and we had our delay in the podcast. Well, not last week, the week before last. But, it's still, coughing and everything and just working. And
I'm still waiting to see if I get the stomach flu. Coworker had it. Luckily, he called off for 2 days, but he worked yesterday, and it was still there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly going around, but we are starting to see potentially some more warmer days until tomorrow when it's supposed to snow.
Yeah, get 3 to 6 inches of snow. It's great. Was going to go out of town, do a little shopping at Plato's Closet, but nope, that's not happening now.
Yeah, it's that's the fun we have here in Ohio with our weather. That's for sure. So yeah, no, that's pretty much what's been on the platter. I mean, really, anything else new?
I'm drawing a blank, honestly. I know there's something else new, but I just can't really think about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, our lives aren't all that interesting. I guess we're not doing a ton of adventuring in February, March. So
we just need to talk more like daily vloggers.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe.
I made an egg today.
Oh God.
Let's talk about it for 5 hours, and you can watch me eat the egg. Yeah.
Oh yes, YouTube vloggers. It was funny story here. So, well, I don't know. It's not really funny. It was just interesting to me. So I was on YouTube, and a suggested video came up, and it was a 1999 interview with David Bowie. Okay,
Yeah, that's random.
well, and the thing is like, I don't really think about like a lot of these old artists like going back and watching their old interviews, but it's always so fascinating because like I remember watching one from like the 70s, like the late 70s with Freddie Mercury, and it was the most random thing. It's like, oh yeah, obviously these guys got interviewed back then. But anyway, so David Bowie pops up, and in the 90s, he had this sort of longer hair, and gosh, I'm trying to think. He was in the movie Zoolander. You remember that? And the little fashion, the walk off.
Blue Steel.
Yeah. So it was interesting. The interesting part was, so the interviewer was this very straight-faced British guy or whatever, European. I guess I just don't remember if he was British or not, but he sounded Britishy. And then David Bowie with his long hair and little blue tint round sunglasses and like, the open button top shirt. And they started talking about like the thing that was most interesting. So he said, if you were 19 today, would you enter the music business? And he says, no. Now think about it. At this time, literally David Bowie's had like almost like a 30-year career, because he came out in like the 60s, wasn't it? As like the Starman. Well, let's put it. He's had over a 20-year career at this point, basically. He's made it through the 70s. He's made it through the 80s. Now he's in the 90s. Turning to the 2000s. Put out a ton of music already, and he had a huge catalog when he died. But so again, the guy asked us, "So would you enter?" And he's like, "No." And the guy was like, "Why?" Well, when it was back then, the only place you really heard music was like AM radio. It felt rebellious, and eras were defined by a certain artist. Like the 50s were like like Elvis territory. The 70s were sort of that hard rock, Zeppelin-y kind of thing. You had the 60s Beatles kind of defined an era and everything, and he was basically alluding to, and this is very true. If you think about the music in the 90s, it was becoming very, very pop radio, very kind of
true.
The same, and it's unfortunately
a lot of substance,
right? And it's unfortunately bled over really bad to today, because if you listen to music today, not the Cantina band, but if you're because that's always the same, but if you're listening to popular music today, it all sounds so damn similar.
Yeah, I actually saw a video on Facebook how to become a famous rapper now, and it's just this normal everyday guy, and he makes a mumble rap.
Yeah.
Song in like 10 minutes with video edit.
Yeah. Yeah. And but anyway, so he wouldn't have been an artist. He said, at the time it was about sort of like a rebellion for him. And today music's not really a rebellion, it's a machine. And then the other interesting part is, again, 1999, he said the next frontier is going to be the internet. And he said that's going to be where the next rebellion is. If I were doing anything, I'd want to do something on the internet. And the interviewer's face, you can't hide your facial cues. And he just did that squinty like, what the hell are you talking about, Bowie? But, he made a good point, because around, not too long after that began the birth of the vlogger. The birth of viral videos, the groundhog, dun, 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 and Numa guy, and just all those Brother Man Bill. Did you ever watch that one? He did that Brother Man Bill song. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's pretty funny, but anyway, it was interesting that in 1999, David Bowie, who would have been, I don't know, 40s, late 40s. I don't remember how old he was even
No
when he
idea,
died.
honestly.
But he wasn't, a young man, although the guy, drank the blood of all the virgins and looked like he was about 20 forever and ever. But he could see that. And that's what's interesting.
It's not really about age as much as vision, I think.
Oh no, it's very true. Yeah. It just happens to be the older you get, sometimes the more you miss. But today, then looking back after the mid 2000s, looking into 2019 now, and what the internet has become for people. Of course, it does allow us to do free podcasts like this and just put them out on multiple platforms without having to pay for it.
Who do you think is the defining artist of this era?
This generation? Oh my God,
decade?
I couldn't even. I have no idea.
I mean, I'm probably just ignoring like the early 2010s, but
well, I mean, we're in a different decade. I mean, it's I don't know who you would define as like right now who the definitive artist is.
Bieber.
No.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, you also could think about like it's all different genres too.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I mean, you could look at country and say maybe like a Jason Aldean or a Blake Shelton or a Luke, whatever the hell, Brian.
There's Combs, Brian. There's like 5 different Lukes now.
I don't know. You could look at all of them as defining that the style of country that is now. I guess
you could
I
also
don't know,
argue
really know
that
what's in pop music nowadays. So.
You could also argue that 90s wasn't all just pop. You had grunge. You had a lot. I mean, there was some good.
But his
then.
point was that it was also. That's when you had so much divide in genre because he was a pop singer. He was an admitted, I'm a pop singer. So I don't know, man. It's kind of interesting that he had that vision, but now the internet has gone almost the way it's not rebellious anymore. It's done for sensationalism.
Everyone's just doing the same thing, honestly.
Well, they're all trying to get views and do weird tags and
challenges,
clickbait
challenges.
Yeah.
Like that whole Momo thing became a challenge.
Well, I did read something else on that recently that it was actually not as big as people wanted to make it out to be.
I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out that it was all fake.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So I don't.
That was some creepy stuff if it is true.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I've seen some videos on it, but you never know if that stuff's real or not.
Well, that's the thing. It's so easy to lie.
You could make up the video and just say that, oh, my kid found this when no one's ever seen it but you and whoever watches your upload.
Right. And then you have the sort of Mandela effects of some of this. I'm trying to look up the actor's name because I can't remember it off the top of my head that our father thinks is dead. And I've literally on 2 occasions have said, no, he's literally not dead.
That happens a lot with him.
Shoot, I don't even remember his name to look him up. He was in, some Tarantino film. He was the real, jeez, I'm totally blanking on his name. He was also in The Big Lebowski.
Are you talking about the Boardwalk Empire actor?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
What's
I know who
his
you're
name?
talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna
look it up through Boardwalk Empire. You'd be able to find him.
Nah, I'm looking up his name here. Steve Buscemi.
Okay.
He's not dead.
Yeah.
But there was a death hoax, and for some reason he thought he was dead, and he's like, no, he's literally not dead. And we had that conversation twice, and I had to show him evidence. But it's so easy to like on the internet, almost exploit that kind of stuff and make it seem real.
Well, it's like Tupac. Everyone thinks he's dead.
Yeah, we saw him last Wednesday at a Disney event, didn't we?
Exactly.
Yep.
At the opening of a certain, ride.
My God. Yeah.
We should probably get to.
Yeah, we can jump. We can jump.
Counsel.
That's cool.
It
we can
almost
jump into
seemed like
Holonet.
it had jumped into Holonet a little bit by what
well,
we were
it was a
talking
good
about.
segue. Yeah. So tell us the news you had there.
So there's been. First off, I just want to say this is the worst setup article ever because it spoils what it warns you that will spoil before you even click on it. But anyway, so Star Wars Episode 9, new TIE fighter accidentally revealed? Yeah, I mean, Disney accidentally revealed a picture of a Galaxy's Edge ride.
Yeah.
Which is a new TIE fighter, the Echelon. TIE Echelon.
Yeah, and by the pictures that you finally were able to find, it's kind of like a cross between the old Imperial shuttle that 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 Han and Luke and Leia rode in on, and a TIE fighter.
Yeah, one of essentially the same wings as Vader's TIE fighter.
Yeah, true.
So it was just those two literally combined. Maybe they think, I don't know, that was like 40 years ago, 35 years ago, so I'm sure they won't remember us just stealing it. It's kind of like in this, it's literally just like the chapter we're about to read, where they just mesh two different ships together. Because that was a big part. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, we'll get there. But no, I mean, it's always interesting to see new vehicles, and one of the I think defining things in Star Wars is that they've had so many different new ships and everything. Like, you remember Count Dooku's little foil, winged looking ship?
Vaguely, yeah.
That they were like golden foils that deployed when he went off into space.
Oh yeah. Honestly,
that was actually kind of neat.
I don't think you're ever gonna see anything better than what they came out with in Clone Wars, though. That's the best part of that movie is all the cool tech.
I would have
the
to agree
droid
with
army
you.
had some really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, no,
Spider droid.
Yeah,
and that was when they introduced the larger, the bodybuilder droid looking thing, right? What's its name? The gray one
with
the one laser arm.
Yeah,
what was that called?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head.
And then I believe the destroyers were.
They were in episode 1.
Oh,
the destroyers.
Yep.
That's what attacked Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
That's right.
Yeah, with the shield generators. Yeah. No, I agree. But the technology is always obviously our first, real that lightsaber is pretty darn cool. Han's blaster is pretty darn cool too. But yeah, the vehicles and everything heck, the land speeder, Luke's land speeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of a really, really neat part of a much larger world. So yeah, new shuttle. Sure.
I'm waiting for someone to make his land speeder since hover tech's now kind of becoming a thing. That would be pretty cool.
I mean, I know that there are some toys. So you remember like Power Wheels back when we were kids? Always wanted a Power Wheel, the Jeep or something like that to ride around in. Yeah. The Barbie Jeep. No, I'm just kidding.
I think
the boys Jeep. We had
the generic off-brand one.
We had something, but I was far too old for it.
I had like an ATV, I think.
Yeah,
but
and
the
honestly,
batteries sucked on it. They died after like 10 minutes of use.
Yeah, honestly, I think you grew out of it like really, really fast too. So it just kind of wound up being junk.
Was not my thing, honestly. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, people change. People have different likes, and so we had a lot of cool '90s toys though. You remember the tag, laser tag. If we still had those would actually be worth some money. Crossfire!
I don't think they worked the last time we had found them.
Well, they probably still had batteries in. I think that's what had happened is we found them. They had batteries in them that had corroded.
They were probably camera batteries.
Who knows?
Because let's be honest, that's what we got. We bought a ton of camera batteries, which I never found out till this year. You're not supposed to use that in anything but a camera because they're made for short bursts of power. That's why they corrode.
Well, I just knew that we got cheap batteries. That's all I knew. So whatever was cheapest at the time.
Grandpa got them at Big Lots.
Yeah. So, but anyway, there's a little bit of HoloNet. There hasn't been a whole lot of Star Wars news yet. Obviously, I think a lot of things will still be slightly under wrap until we get to Celebration in April, and then hopefully we get some talking points out of that. I think we will. And then we'll go forward from that. So how about we get into the reread? Ready?
Yeah, we'll have to make it quick since that was about an hour.
Now they love that kind of non-Star Wars stuff.
Everyone's like, "Oh my God, they just talked about mainly Star Wars for a long time."
I'm sure the whole 12 seconds that weren't Star Wars we'll hear about. But anyway.
All right, so back to the Lord of the Rings reread.
Chapter 8, Gandalf's Flight. Oh, so yes, Chapter 8 here.
What are we calling it? You decided on this one.
Oh, the Return of the Freelance. Yeah. So anyway, we start up here with Darklighter, first name redacted. It's Gavin. Let's see. As his X-Wing cleared the dorsal launch bay of the Bothan assault cruiser, Roll Roost.
I don't have any.
Rowl Roost. Okay. Gavin Darklighter tugged back on the stick. Just tugged back on the stick.
You know what I
rolled.
wish there'd be? I wish there'd be a counterpart to him that was Lighter.
Hey, the Star Wars universe, you never know. White lighter, dark lighter. I don't know. Who knows? Well, he tugged back on his stick and rolled to starboard to watch the rest of the squadron emerge. The Bothan assault cruiser was one of the latest additions to the New Republic fleet. While slightly smaller than the Victory class Star Destroyer and possessed of leaner and less angular lines. Less angular lines. Okay, so it's not Art Deco. The Rowl Roost, I think that's what I'll go with, boosted 20% more firepower. Yeah.
Than a Vic.
A
Crown Vic.
Yeah. So it has more firepower than a Crown Victrola. But, hey, man, it's not hard to do.
What doesn't?
Yeah. And almost half again as much in terms of shielding and armor. So it's pretty much armed to the teeth, which is awesome. Ship had been designed to take a severe pounding and still hammer an enemy. So we can get pounded and still hammer.
Pound and hammer.
Maybe that's the name of the chapter. Chapter 8, Pound and Hammer. Oh, let's see. Well, Darklighter's here thinking to himself as he's blasting off into space. He had a discussion with his wife and his sister when the Bothans announced plans to build the assault cruisers. Peace had been declared with the Imperial Remnant, so the ships were seen as either a foolish allocation of resources, hints at future Bothan aggression, or as far as Sarah and Raska. Whatever. I'll say Raska. You say potato, I say tomato. It's all good. We're concerned a gross waste of money. Given the peace galaxy, both of them thought the money needed built one of the ships could better spend healing the scars of decade-long war. Okay, gotcha.
I find it funny that they say peace in the galaxy.
Well,
How can there be peace in a galaxy?
Well,
there can't even be peace in one country, let alone the whole galaxy. Yeah, I would be still building new designs.
Well, and that's actually a classic argument because that came up in the Aftermath series with Mon Mothma when they were deciding about arming this New Republic or standing down. Now, unfortunately, I mean, you guys have to read the Aftermath series to really kind of understand what happened and kind of why disarming is maybe not the greatest idea in the world. Now, if you're here in, say, Earth, and we had, a Star Trek-like peace amongst ourselves, a de-armistice could, sort of make some sense. But in a galaxy as big as this, with as many
different races,
and some
species.
of them, heck, you have Mandalorians out there who are basically just Klingons. It's not, in my opinion, it's not the smartest thing to just de-arm. So, the Bothans, maybe they are aggressors a little bit sometimes, but it's not, I wouldn't call it foolish. But anyway, so they started making more ships. And, Gavin's wife and his sister weren't for it. That's what I get out of this chapter.
But luckily they didn't make the decision.
Oh, yeah. So let's go ahead and punch through a little bit of this. I'm going to move to the next page. Now, this is Rogue Squadron, by the way.
It is. Under a new leader.
Wedge Antilles. Well, he was almost always the lead, but not today because Gavin's the leader. Darklighter. Let's see. They spread out and turned toward the center of the star system. It wasn't much to look at, with an asteroid belt separating two small, very hot planets from three large gas giants.
So hot.
None of the planets themselves supported life, though the largest gas giant did have some moons that were almost hospitable, if one could tolerate low oxygen. I don't know about you. Can you tolerate low oxygen?
For a short amount of time.
There you go. The system didn't even have a name. which struck Gavin as appropriate for some reason because, just chunks of rock don't deserve a name, apparently, in his opinion. Kind of presumptuous.
Yeah.
He assumed that they just don't have a name.
Are you assuming I don't have a name?
Well, maybe they named themselves. You never know. I mean, hey, the Yuuzhan have living coral. You never know. Oh,
and
so
living staffs. Do you think those staffs each get a name? Because they deserve a name. They'd be like, I'd treat that staff like a Lord of the Rings weapon.
That'd be awesome. Well, we also get back in here with Admiral Creefey, who's in command of the Ral Roost.
Creefefe.
Creehefe. Let's see. Rogue Squadron shifted from playing pirates to becoming pirate hunters. And that's kind of what they're out here doing, little pirate hunting.
They're very nice pirate hunters, though.
Yeah.
Not to spoil anything ahead,
Yeah,
but
to
they're
be
very
honest,
nice.
yeah, we'll get into that a little bit about some of the battle tactics here. I was a little, okay. Catch. Push sensors. We know there were snub fighters out here, but I need to find their base. The droid warbled.
World.
Oh, lead we have transient contacts on the asteroid belt 24/7 Mark 30. They're shadowing us. I copy. Got enough to identify them. Matches aren't coming up easily, so I'm guessing uglies. So they can't really identify these ships, so their kind of first instinct is, could it be Yuuzhan Vong?
Which is what they're hoping for, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Gavin reached up and flicked a switch that locked the fighter's S-foils in an attack position. S-foils. Yeah. He studied his sensor scopes, but got nothing. Well, if they won't show themselves easily, we'll just have to root them out ourselves. Rogues, on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark. He kicked his X-Wing up its port stabilizers, his knees stick back, and leveled out and saw the rest of the flight crews behind him.
Is it just me, or do you just love reading sections about X-Wings and all the different ships? Just gets
The
you a
technical
little,
stuff.
little excited.
So good here. Rogue leader here. We have contact, and we are investigating. Understood, rogue leader. Good hunting. All right, Gavin starts to sort of think through his mind here about some of the simulations that he's done against the Coral Skippers, and let's see here. I don't know. I think I'm gonna skip.
You don't want to talk about all the cobbled together ships? The ships?
Well, okay, I guess.
It's not super interesting.
Well,
It's just a funny thought.
Yeah. All the ships were, in fact, uglies, cobbled together from parts of older fighters. They included TIE wings, okay,
And
which were TIE
acceptors.
fighter cockpits married to Y-wing engine. Oh, that's fun.
I like the acceptors.
Accept. What a name for a ship. This is the Acceptor.
Just deal with it.
Which were X-wing bodies with TIE interceptor wings. Wow, actually, you know what? That might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because that's 6 laser turrets on that. That'd be a hell of a cool ship.
That'd be kind. Yeah, that'd actually be kind of. I'll take an Acceptor. I wouldn't call it an Acceptor though. That's kind of weird. I don't know what else I'd call it. Whatever.
I'm trying to think of it, but
Well-
maybe Acceptor is the best option.
maybe.
Or just name it something else.
Yeah. All the ships were common in a pirate fleet, as hydrogen was in the galaxy. Although it could be very deadly. Okay, dropped his targeting reticle. Let's see here. So he picks up. Let's see. Concern Melissa. The clutch had no shields. There was no reason any pilot going into combat wouldn't bring his shields up to full power. The Tri-Fighter was known to possess shields, which was one of the reasons it had become a successful pirate ship design. Talk about pirate ships here. I mean, it's just yo-ho and a bottle of rum. Yeah, okay. Well, without shields, the pirates would never stand a chance against the rogues. Or would they? No, they wouldn't. No.
It's kind of hilarious.
Catch, get me their tactical frequencies.
Tactics? They don't have tactics. Look at them, no shields.
Well, they don't, because one of them, one of the little ships just kept coming at them, closing well within optimal range, and finally shot a green laser bolt at Gavin's X-Wing. The energy sent a static hiss through the comm unit speakers as it dissipated against the shields. It had done less damage to them than it should have, and only one of the two lasers on the clutch had fired. So he notices that, first of all, they're getting very close, which means they probably don't have targeting sensors.
Yeah.
And
they're clearly damaged because it's only firing on one side.
Right. So it didn't really do any damage, just, dissipated on the shielding. So, I guess we should just kill them all. Kill them all!
Destroy all uglies.
Yeah, does say here, and the only reason a pilot has to get that close is shooting with visual data, his sensors must be out.
Or he's using the Force. Could be using the Force.
Maybe. Well, Gavin Darklighter does decide to pop off a few shots, and this is actually where we were kind of getting to. He's just so gentle.
Yeah.
He's just so gentle.
It's like, oh, that's cute. Let me show you how a real man pilots a ship.
Well, unlike our crazy Jedi friends who are just willing to blow him out of the sky, Gavin does a little bit of, precision triggering. And then one thing I did want to point out here, so they do have some more specialized weapons now that are specifically designed to deal with the Yuuzhan Vong, but he has to use his middle finger.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call these the FU lasers.
Yeah.
I just thought that was kind of weird.
Give him the bird, Rogue Squadron.
Yeah,
Give him the bird.
There you go. All right, everybody. Shoot the bird. Shoot the bird. Let's see here. Catch put their tactical frequencies on comm channel 4. This is Colonel Gavin Darklighter of the New Republic. Identify yourselves and stand down, or you will be destroyed. And then a voice coming through the speakers. This is
Urias.
Yeah, okay, Urias Haxon of the Freelance. Yes, the most awesomely named ship. Yeah. And of course, we remember the Freelance basically getting destroyed by the Yuuzhan Vong.
What's that thing?
Oh, God, run away, run away. Yeah, well, they were trying to lay a little ambush on some of the Imperial remnant, which is what they did. They were former bounty hunters, essentially. Mm-hmm. And then after the peace, they were kind of just pirates. So that was supposed to be the last big score. Didn't wind up being a score. They wound up getting thoroughly smacked around by the Yuuzhan Vong, and now they're flying around in their acceptors, just trying to accept their fate.
It's kind of ironic that they're essentially what Rogue Squadron is now. They were.
Kind of, in a way, yeah. Very true. Let's see here. Well, so they are going to stand down. Without thinking, Gavin juked him. His fighter left and saw green laser bolts blaze through the space he just left. A TIE wing dived through, followed closely by Rogue 2. Crowl Nevin's quad burned. One of the Y-wings from the ugly, leaving the explode, killed him. Got it. Thanks, 2.
He's not as nice.
Yeah, he was like, well, you know what? Dead. Thanks, 2. Just doing my job, lead. Watching your back.
I love you.
I love you, Kevin. You're so cool.
Now do a barrel roll.
Captain Haxon, order your forces to stand down. They cannot fight us. They can't fight us. You guys suck. Your ships are all damaged or beat up, and they're stupid. And we don't want to slaughter any more than we... Wait.
One that we slaughter.
You don't want a slaughter any more than we do. Slaughter.
And a blood rush.
Yeah. So anyway, they do stand down, and some of our, well, I'm not going to call them pirate friends, but our little pirates here are brought aboard the Ral Roost. They need to have a better name than that. How do they come up with that crap?
How do they come up with Crefe?
Crefe I'm okay with, you know. It's better than Chick-fil-A. So anyway, back aboard the Ral Roost. Colonel Darklighter, thank you for joining us. You've spoken with Captain Haxon? I have. Thank you for ending the fight so quickly.
Thank you for sucking so much.
Yeah. Then, Haxon does say, I should thank you for letting me to permit my people to leave. I should thank you for letting me permit my people to live.
Yeah.
Does that sound kind of strange? I should
like,
thank you for letting me permit my people to live.
So, Captain, Rogue Squadron's not going to fight us if we don't fight them, so we can just, nope, keep fighting.
Yeah.
We're not permitting you to live. But, no.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
In the arms of the angel. As he shoots his one little laser.
Shoots the bird.
Shoots the bird.
There you go. You may not know this, but Uriah Saxon has quite a history with the freelance. He operated as a privateer raiding Imperial shipping. We know that. And then we also know that there was a holodrama written about it. So, pretty sweet guy.
Yeah.
He's got, I bet the cover of it when it first pops up is like long flowing Fabio guy, you know.
Is he the one with the robotic arm?
Haxon?
Yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Do you think he has the robotic arm as the first visual? Just flowing hair and robotic arm.
That'd be pretty badass.
Holding a long sword or something. Just randomly.
Yeah, I think that's pretty typical on horseback.
Yeah.
By a river in a meadow.
And he's actually Russian.
Why not? Oh, let's see here. Well, I don't know. I feel like really skipping through some of this, to be honest with you.
I'm good with that.
Because the big thing here is that Haxon basically thinks he's arrested. Okay, he thinks he's done for because he's effectively kind of a criminal. Yeah. Although, at the beginning, he wasn't. He was doing a service for the Republic. But then it kind of turned into piracy, and the Imperials had a bounty on him. And then when they made peace, he was still doing that stuff. So he's technically kind of a criminal. But no, he was actually shown to guest quarters, not a brig, and basically said, "Hey, guy, you've seen their tactics. You know what we're dealing with. So you're pretty valuable here, and we're going to try and work you into the plan." He doesn't quite understand, but you will.
And you will fulfill your destiny.
Yeah. So that's basically the end of the chapter, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially. Kind of some cool parts.
Yeah, I mean,
it was falls flat at the end.
Well, it's kind of neat to see some of the freelancers, kind of alive, I guess. Did you really care about the freelancers?
We had a chapter with them. How could I care? I liked the idea of them. I didn't get enough character development to care about them.
Yeah, so
one more big take, and we can all
just one more
retire
score.
And learn to play
Valicord.
Valicord, thank you.
Yeah. Just one more score. Just need to get a little bit more so I can pay my debts.
I gotta be a little less tone deaf too.
Goodness. So yeah, I mean, okay chapter. Again, these chapters are just, we've said it before, they're short.
I just like ships. I like space combat.
Well, it wasn't much of space combat. Well, we did get some interesting takes and everything. Yeah, the cobbled together pirate ships that are just pieces and parts of everything.
The Acceptor.
Yeah.
With a decal on the side that reads, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's cool. I'm accepting. And that's actually kind of something that's kind of interesting. So you remember in the prequel trilogy where everything was so new. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was new ships, shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember like the Naboo cruiser, the chrome, Naboo cruiser.
Yeah.
But even like somebody like a criminal like Boba Fett and just a lot of these guys, they had ships and they were unique ships. But
especially, I always loved Obi's and Anakin's in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, those were kind of cool
ships, especially Obi-Wan's.
But I'm just talking about like privateers. They had ships. They weren't necessarily cobbled together. I guess you could kind of say the Millennium Falcon was sort of cobbled together, but it was one shape.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a Star Destroyer that made sweet love to like an X-Wing,
But he did add a few features to it.
It's true. But now we're seeing sort of because obviously the prequel stuff was kind of like a quote sort of golden age type of deal, and then it went into what it became later on in our original trilogy.
And so now we're just where we're at now, which is crap.
Sort of. I mean, obviously, the New Republic has the resources to have nice ships. The Imperial Remnant has ships, I guess. Not that they're. I mean, I don't know how many are alive now, but yeah, basically your space.
None of them bombers, I can tell you that.
That's true. But none of these space pirates, they're just out there just kind of cobbling together what they can. I mean, Haxon did have the freelance, which apparently was cool, I guess, but it's now not so cool.
You know what I want to see at the beginning of episode 9? I want to see them just going over blueprints and schematics for those bombers from episode 8, and someone just hit the delete button. Like, never doing that again.
Yeah, that was... I don't know. I mean, it was a cool scene, but they didn't see.
Plot device ship. That's all it was.
Listen,
it was designed based on the plot.
We know your hatred towards Last Jedi.
It flows through you.
Can I just combine Rogue One and Solo and say that was episode 8? Even though it wouldn't work, it'd still be better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we've had discussions about that. I mean, The Last Jedi had some good in it, but it also had some bad in it. And
there were some parts with Luke that weren't terrible.
Yeah, but that's not the new Jedi Order.
That's right.
That is an
this
alternate
is
reality.
Cool Luke. This is the cool Luke.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get back into some more Luke here. We are going to be going over Chapter 9.
Nope. It's going to be Lil Sis.
Yeah.
I assume he's the oldest by like a few minutes.
That's a good question.
Actually, that's shown in the movie, and I don't know.
Who knows? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was older.
Well, I'm way too lazy to look.
Pretty sure he was older because I think she said Luke first.
Luke. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the chapter with us and our incessant babbling in the beginning. Greatest podcast ever. We've been nominated for several internet awards that aren't real, that I make up.
Can't wait for the next day when I see all the comments saying, actually, Leia was older. Go read your source material again.
Yeah, maybe.
Watch the movie, why don't you?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you do want to make a comment, make sure to leave your negative comments on YouTube and leave us a nice big old fat...
We don't even have the login for that.
Well, I do. But yeah, make sure you leave all your positive comments on places like iTunes and Podbean. Wherever you find podcasts on, we are pretty much on. And if you'd like to...
Facebook.
Yeah, if you'd like to leave us a message, you can always hit us up on Facebook. Leave us your Star Wars stories. Let us know how you got into it, and we'll read your story right here on the podcast.
Tell me your favorite ship.
Yeah, why
not?
And
if it's the bomber, I'm blocking you.
That's mean. You can also leave us an email at tcplanpodcast@gmail.com if you want to write a little bit longer form story or whatever and do some formatting. Mm-hmm. That's always fun. And you can check out Patreon, where we have our Dinner with the Patron series. Just eat a little food with you guys, talk about random topics, just a little bit of bonus content for helping along the podcast. Anything we get out of that just goes right back in the show. I'm thinking mic upgrades next.
I need to do that regardless. It's my turn to upgrade something.
Well, the mics we have are good. I've been thinking about some other mics. Obviously, we've been talking about some boom arms, some swing arms, so that we get out of the traditional mic stands. We've been kind of thinking about another recorder with a little
table.
bit more. We have a table if we're recording at my place.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we've got some upgrading potentially in the future. But if you want to help us out, Patreon's the place to do it. But if not, that's also okay. This free podcast you guys listen to, we just appreciate getting out there and having a little bit of fun each week.
We just appreciate the fact that we're not talking to ourselves.
True
Just
enough.
need one of you. We'd appreciate more, but
just one
friend.
So anyway, anything else you want to talk about before we leave them?
No, I think we'll save everything for the next one, which is going to be in a week. Wink, wink.
Yeah, we might double record. But anyway, guys, you guys have a great rest of your week. We appreciate you stopping by.
And as always, may the Force be with you.